Okay, welcome back to class, everyone, after a quick water break. So it's like, now we have Rollie Pollie Olie. Okay, it's like, this is a TV show that aired, and then all of a sudden it stopped airing. So this is what I watched as a kid. Okay, so like, what is Rollie Pollie Olie? Rollie Pollie Olie is a sphere. Okay, we need to understand that. So like, a good exercise to do if we want to make a cube is we draw a cross. We do a cross with an extra square at the bottom so that when we cut it out and put the corners together, we have a lid. So a lot of people do this wrong, where they think a 3D shape is its 2D equivalent. So I had this song that I was on Worst Behavior by Drake, and I said, look, look at my cup. I'm a real nigga. Look at my cup, my story's got a side. So when we are so in real life, we are looking at things in 3D. We are in the third dimension where items pop out. That's why the item in front of you that is the shadow is on the opposite side of the sun. It's like, I am sitting here with an air freshener. The sun is behind me. So the shadow is on the opposite side of the sun. So we are in a 3D dimension where items pop out. We're in the 3D realm, so there's a side to this cup. If I am watching a TV show, the TV is a flat screen TV. It is virtual. It is a 2D. You are watching 2D cartoons. So then I was telling Drake, I was like, he has Worst Behavior. I come on Worst Behavior and I say, look, you got dusted by Humpty Dumpty. So then I'm doing a diss track on Drake. I'm like, Humpty Dumpty has outsmarted you in wits somewhere. And then, like, my cup, I'm 3D, I'm a real nigga. My story's got a side. So it's like, I'm a real person, I'm in the 3D dimension. So these items and objects have another side to them. That even though I can't see, the item is not flat, because to the opposite side of the sun, this item's shadow is there. So your shadow will always exist to the other side of the sun. So the sun always rises in the east, sets in the west. So if I stand facing south, so east is to my left, my shadow is on my right side. Let's say you don't have a shadow. You're walking around, all of a sudden, there is no shadow. Your shadow is not there. What does that mean? It means it is noon. It means the sun, it is 12 p.m. noon. The sun is directly above your head, so your shadow is not there. That is how I would survive the woods if you want me on your team in the way of men. What time? Because like, there's gotta be a way to tell time. You can use your clock. Nowadays, people use their clock and they start texting people, and then they turn their clock into a phone. My phone has always been a clock. So like right now, I don't have data. I don't have like a cell phone provider. I turn on my phone, 9:21 a.m. This is my clock. It is my mobile clock. So then the sun starts in the east, right? It's at like a 45-degree angle right now, because it's 75%. It's halfway at noon. So then we're in the woods. There is no shadow. The sun is directly above us. I say, guys, it's noon. Do we want to catch fish for lunch? So then, Rollie Pollie Olie is a sphere. The Earth is a globe. So the shape of the Earth is the globe. If I were to buy a globe, it would be the Earth on a physical, like coat hanger type of tangent. So like this bookstore is selling a globe. Here's a globe, and then you spin the globe, and then you say, "I'm gonna travel here with Mr. Beast." Even without that thingy-majiggy, the Earth itself, the shape of the Earth as it is in the galaxy, is a globe. Rollie Pollie Olie is like a 3D circle. So a 3D circle is a sphere. Rollie Pollie Olie is a moving sphere. So I'm watching this with you. I'm right beside you. I say, why are you watching this 2D cartoon? Because it is not a real nigga. It is not in our 3D dimension where there is a sun and then the opposite side of the sun is the shadow. So I say, why are you watching this 2D cartoon? And that is right. That is right for me to say. So then you could counteract this. You could say, it's not. I'm like, why are you watching this 2D cartoon? It's not 2D. It's 3D. So you are saying then it is popping out at you. Then you say you're right. It's a 2D cartoon, but they made shadows. So then it's virtual. It's like playing RuneScape. My character, if I change the angle to this character, the side could have always existed. I'm doing Slayer. The side could have always existed. I just say it's virtual then, if the side has existed. But yeah, here is a 2D cartoon. How do we get up in the morning? There's a TED Talk. It says you count to 10 and then you just get up. Because if you never get up, you just won't ever get up. And that helped. There's another one by Bob Proctor that he's like, in the science of getting rich. He says, one of the secrets to getting rich is when you wake up, get up. And that also changed my life too. Another one, it's like, you gotta change your ringtone to a motivational speech. So that, like very easily. Like I once had either a Tony Robbins one or like a Dan Bano one, where it's like instead of 8 a.m. he just goes like, go chase your dreams. If you won't chase your dreams today, you're gonna put it off tomorrow, and you're gonna put it off tomorrow, and then like yeah, they'll never figure out that one. What else? If you're going to work out in the morning, wear your gym clothes into bed. Having a caffeine pill and then an extra 15 minutes and then having the caffeine pill under your tongue and then melting, so that it's like you get a jolt of energy in the morning. Doing a cold shower in the morning. Doing a cold shower in the morning and then having your favorite thing, hardest thing to do, taking a cold shower. I used to work for Andre, and Andre had this thing where he's like, I love going to Starbucks and getting a Starbucks coffee in the morning. It's my favorite thing to do. I have one where it's like my favorite thing and the hardest thing to do is a cold shower. So that's why I do it first second of the day. This is so hard, and this is like the favorite thing of all time. And then I'm content, and like my day is just set, you know. So then it's like I was thinking about this. There's so many things I can journal, you know. So it's like I don't know if I'm the only person that sleeps. I actually don't know. I truly do not know. It's like last night I went to bed at 12 a.m. I got up at 6 a.m. So I can do that thing where it's like I'm now outside at 7 a.m., which is good. It is really early. So I walk to the beach at 7 a.m. It is so nice. And then I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't know if I'm the only person that sleeps. Because do I feel like I have accomplished a lot more? And then I look at people and I'm like, you could benefit from sleep because then when you're well rested, you could accomplish more. There's that. There's something where I'm like, I feel like if I were in your shoes, I could have accomplished a lot more. And then I'm like, it's sleep that you're missing. And then it is so hard to like understand, but it's like, I don't know if I'm the only person that sleeps. It's like, it's so, because how would I know if you sleep? Then I go to bed I go to bed and I'm going to sleep. And then I'm just like, hold on. The way I'm looking at like people living their life and I'm like, it also does look like you don't sleep. Like in a way, it's like, it does look like the way you've accomplished things. It's also like from midnight to 8 a.m., you don't know why someone is sleeping at the same time. So then it kind of brings me to the idea of, is money a household projection? So it's like this one time I was living with this person that would never get over Airbnb. I move out of this person's Airbnb. It's like 3 years later, this person comes up to me. He finds me in Chinatown, and he's like, "Look what you've done." And I'm like, "What happened?" And then this person is like really like sly, you know, like a fox. This person is looking away from me, not making eye contact. Is this you ordering Uber Eats on my credit card? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And then I look at like the numbers, and it's like Uber Eats $77, Uber Eats $63, Uber Eats $700, Uber Eats $7,000, Uber Eats $6,000 with all these other transactions. And then so first I said, yeah, it is. And then obviously it isn't. And I'm like, it's not. But then the person says, okay, well I'm so unhappy. He says, how dare you spend $7,000 last month of my money on Uber Eats? So I just want you to pay me $2,000. This is what this person said to me. It's like, and this happened after like 15 years of staying at this person's Airbnb. I'm not talking about peak winter. In the peak of winter, when your card declines or you check your bank account and it's $50, will you go up to someone because money could be a household projection, say that they used your credit card $7,000 and you could really use $2,000 and you're not looking them in the eye? So it's like, so I was thinking, I was walking around, I'm like, why didn't this person when I was 19 come up to me and try to screw me over for $2,000, and then screwed me over for $2,000 when I was 20, and then screwed me over for $2,000 when I was 21, screwed me over for $2,000 when I was 22, and then just screwed me over until I suddenly understood. Some people said like, because it's not peak winter, because like that person would ruin his whole scam. That person did it all the time. So I'm living with this person. This person is so normal. never scams me. And all of a sudden, this person probably checked their credit card, only had $50 left. I'm like, hey, like, yeah, come inside my house. What's going on? Is this you using $7,000 of my credit card last month? It's okay. I'm just really unhappy. But I just want you to pay me back $2,000 of the $7,000. I'm now talking about peak winter when your card starts declining and like what do you do at that point? The only thing you can do is melt a spatula and then eat and drink it at the same time. like so it's like, why didn't this person screw me for $2,000 every single year I've known this person? Because then they'll ruin the entire scam. So you're telling me then this person builds trust with me when this person needs it the most, says I spent $7,000 of his money, to then just ask me for $2,000 when it's been like 2 weeks that this person ran out of money. Because that person had a job, and this person had an income, and this person had people to depend on, and everything was going good for this person his entire life. So then you're just telling me when this person is forced to melt a spatula to drink and eat, this person finds me and then just ask for $2,000, claiming that I spent $7,000. Instead of asking me for $2,000 for 12 years to have $24,000. And people are saying, yeah, because this person had a job. This person was well set. Not everything was peak winter. So then it's just like, it's like me going outside and then wondering if money is a household projection. How do I know if the person across from me ordering McDonald's has infinite money? How do I know this person ordering McDonald's across from me gets paid to buy things? Where it's like, I just ordered an egg McMuffin. McDonald's gets paid $8 for the egg McMuffin. I get paid $8 to eat the egg McMuffin. How do I know this person doesn't have infinite money? That, like, how else would you live? And I'm here, I'm paying minus $20. And then I'm handing in my receipt, and I don't know if this exists for anybody else. How will I know? It's like people in Japan. This Japanese guy, his dad is telling him, you owe me $400 for rent. This person believes money is a household projection, and that his dad is a terrible person, and his dad is terrorizing him. He goes to hang out with his friend. His friend and this other girl are getting barbecue food. This friend spends $145. This friend, because he got yelled at by his dad, only spends $20. And then this guy asks his friend, isn't your dad gonna yell at you? You just spent $145. And then the guy says, no, my dad hasn't yelled at me for spending that much. So then how would this person know if money is just a household projection, and that it could be someone in your life deliberately following you, printing out every item you bought? Because the bank statement would just be like, how do you have the time? I even brought it up. This person showed me this RBC statement. Minus 700 Uber Eats, minus 800 Uber Eats, minus 45 RBC interest, minus $12 Chipotle. And then I'm like, I did go to Chipotle. Some items are correct, but then there's this $7,000 Uber Eats charge that is incorrect. So that's why I said yeah at first. I'm like, yeah, that is me buying Chipotle. But how do you have the time? How do you have these friends that are texting you what I bought and how much it cost, so you can then print it out and then you just change one of them to say there's a $7,000 charge, and hey, everything is right. You owe me $7,000 because, as you can see, you did buy Chipotle. So I'm like, okay, so you've been following me, texting people. Now you owe me 2,000 of the 7,000 only. That was such a crazy scam. This guy tried to run on me. But then, I play it safe. So I get my real statement. And then how can you ever know if money is a household projection? How can you ever know if sleep is a projection? Like, as we're watching like Drake at the concert, or we're watching Lil Wayne rapping. What's so good about Lil Wayne rapping? Because he's in the club. He's in the club to say he's busy. And then he just drops the craziest verse of all time. So I'm looking at it in a way that I'm saying like, Lil Wayne, I don't know if you sleep or not. Because if you slept, you could have accomplished a lot more. You've been more well rested. You would be a bigger public figure than you are now. But then for you to achieve that level of like skill, you don't sleep. Because I can't see how I'm going to sleep at 12 a.m. tonight and I would be able to write something that crazy. So then I don't know if people sleep or not. I genuinely don't know.
Okie dokie, Betty. Up and at 'em. Morning, room.
So does the start of the week start on Sunday or Monday? Probably both. If you do church, then church starts Saturday and you're getting ready to go to church tomorrow. Oh, I once said this thing. So we all have frustrating parents where like they irk us, We have frustrating people that sometimes ask us questions and we want to like lash out. When you should never lash out at someone is when your grandma asks you what day it is, what day of the week it is. So my very sweet grandma, she's like, I've been in puberty. So I'm 14 years old. I'm cooler than my grandma. She's like, what day is it? What day of the week? Is it Tuesday or Saturday? And then I'm like, for the death of me, I just wanted to be like, why does it matter? But then you know why it matters what day of the week it is? That's right. Because it allows us to know what personality we have. It allows us to know how angry we should be. It allows us to know how happy we should be. I thought about this. So then, like, today is Sunday. I ask somebody, is today Saturday or Sunday? This person says, well, why does it matter? I say, because on Saturday, I'm more happy, and then on Sunday, I'm slightly more grumpy. And then on Mondays, I'll be more energetic in the morning, and then I can be grumpy at 5 p.m. And then I think that's really normal. So then I think we all know giddy up characters. Giddy up characters think it doesn't matter. So then, you talk to a guy, you're like, oh, hey, Arslan. And then Arslan starts laughing really like crazily on Wednesday morning. And then you just know this person is not right. I think that's normal.
Banana spot.
It's like we should always do what's hard on Monday. So I just took in today as Sunday. So things matter. Hey, by the way, it is Sunday morning and people are at church. Oh, that's interesting. It changes so much. Never be the person that gets angry when someone asks you what day of the week it is. It is such a fair question to ask. They want to know their temperament. So, it's Sunday morning. Okay. So then, always do what's hard on Monday. Monday is getting ready for the rest of the week. It's called eating the frog. You do the hardest thing so that everything else is easy. I'm talking to door-to-door people if they exist. I'm doing some like motivation leadership stuff. So then, like, there's that joke. It reminds me of this Rollie Pollie Olie episode where it's like, okay, Timmy, when you get up in the morning, brush your teeth, use a bathroom, shower, but make sure you get out of bed first. You don't want to brush your teeth in bed and then there's Colgate like all over your mouth.
You sleep tight, Spot? Me too. Up and at 'em, Olie.
Everyone in their life should eventually get an electronic toothbrush. It's just a battery you click, and you'll realize how hard it is. You're like, well, isn't this bleeding my gums? And then you'll realize you were brushing your teeth wrong the whole time. Like, it's so interesting. What else do you need in your bathroom? You need one of those toiletry kits that you can carry your toothbrush in. So you take your tooth. You don't want to leave it out because when people flush, they're blowing up the toilet, and then your toothbrush will get dirty. You'll have bacteria. What's something like if you were ever in some sort of affiliation, like some sort of gang affiliation? What have you probably experienced? You probably experienced someone using the bathroom, taking your toothbrush, and then using your toothbrush to scrub the toilet. When you use that toothbrush, what happens? You get the flu right away. So once upon a time, when I was a baby, or just like recently, I must have offended somebody somewhere. You know, they didn't like how I was in the fast lane or something. So then I went to Ottawa. I used this hotel toothbrush. The very next day I woke up and I had the flu. Then I'm like, oh, someone was offended by something. They took my toothbrush, they scrubbed the toilet, and I put it back. As easy as that. And then there's one time I ran off to LA. I saved up enough money to run off to LA. I had about 30 to 40K. Then I'm like, the story is I turn on my laptop. Someone changed my desktop to my passport. So then I'm like, okay, I am clearly being hounded by gang members. Like, and then it just said, leave the country, I guess. Then, because my laptop got hacked, then I take my laptop, I throw it in the ocean. I just take my passport. I'm like, okay, is this what you want? Like, and then everything is just so suspicious. Like, people are following me everywhere. I go to LA. I book 2 apartments. One Airbnb in Los Angeles, one Airbnb in New York, and then I land in Chicago as like a leeway for the first time in my life. All my life I've taken direct flights. So then I tricked some people. I took a pit stop in Chicago, and then I just walked outside the airport. And then anyone who was hacking my email, like, where is he? We lost him. He could be from LA to New York. So that's why you should always take direct flights in case one day you need to lose gang members. But then, like, I didn't have a place to stay in Chicago, so I'm like, screw it. Like, if these people want to follow me, then they'll just follow me to my Airbnb. I just end up going to Los Angeles instead of New York. Why? Because New York apartments probably have cockroaches. It's roach infested. Like, New York is known for having rats in the subway because there's 8 million people. It's the most populous city in the entire world. So then, like, not including Tokyo. So then I just go to Los Angeles because the apartment I live at won't have rats and probably not cockroaches. So then I go to Los Angeles instead of New York. And then I went to this zoo that one of my cousins once told me. We run this San Diego zoo. You can visit every animal except for the lion because the lion is offensive to me. So then I understood that. So what am I also trying to say? I'm also trying to say you should always be the person that knows where your aunts and cousins live. Never be the person that is like mixing up 2 with 5 and 5 with 6 and 6 with 7. So like, for example, it's saying like you have to be a really conscious, sharp person once you step in the world. Though it's like there's a shark in the fish in the ocean. You want to be the shark swimming in the ocean. You never want to be a guppy. You never want to be a goldfish. So once upon a time, I'm trying my best to be conscious right away. One of my family members, he says, let's go to your aunt's place. So then I'm trying my best to be conscious. I'm like, I will remember this moment. Like, so I'm watching every twist and turn. And we end up beside Greenwood Park, where there's dogs being walked. And there's a bus stop. And it drives and it stops at this other bus stop. So I imagined it. I've probably also been on the bus where it's like, that's a really interesting bus where it just stops at the top of the hill and then goes down. And then this is where your number 5 aunt lives. And then, do you remember aunt number 5's aunt? It's like, oh yeah, there's upstairs here, there's 3-bedroom. I remember what the living den looks like. And then my number 2 aunt, it's like, you drive into Scarborough and then you go up somewhere. But then Kingston Road ends. So it's like, is it Birchmount? So it's like, I feel like if I were to look for my number 2 aunt, I'll just drive somewhere, but it ends at Kingston Road. So I'll just go all the way to Kingston Road. I'll just go north on Birchmount, and then I'll probably just end up seeing their house because it's like on the left of a main intersection. And that's how I found my number 2 aunt. If, like, I don't know, if my parents don't like me, they disown me. To quickly contact my 2nd cousin. To quickly contact my 5th moo. So then, as life goes on, I was like, I start moving in. I move into this place called Leslieville, and I'm like, oh, Greenwood Park. This is where one of my aunts live, right across from me. So imagine that. Imagine like you move in to an apartment right across from your aunt, and then you are going against a dangerous world, a scary world. Who knows how dangerous people are? So you move into a neighborhood, you don't know how dangerous people are. But then luckily for me, when I moved in the neighborhood, I'm like, oh, I'm right across my aunt. And that just allowed me to like feel more safe and like feel better about like taking on different endeavors. And it's just to say, like, you need to know where your aunts live.
Okie dokie, Mom. Ollie! Morning, Zoe. Up, Adam? Yep, up and Adam. Go school? Yep, go school. School. Brush teeth? Yep, brush teeth. Brush. Oh! See you, Brushy. That's a Noki Doki, Zoe. Gotta use your toothbrush. No! Brush. Oops.
This one time. So, why do gangs exist? You can say for camaraderie, but like, let's... like, I'm pretty young, so like, I don't know the history of immigration. So I believe it has a lot to do with immigration. So, let's say my dad has a dad, right? And then all this stuff. So then, somewhere when I was a baby, I was being chased by people. My dad and I were being chased by someone. all the time. And then what can we say it is? My dad bought a house that is too luxurious, and it offended his family member because we came from China. So this person says, hey, yeah, you can come to Canada where there's more job opportunities. Here's a bunch of money. This person then buys a lavish house. And then people start coming after us. Like, hey, we didn't tell you to buy a lavish house. Just buy a normal apartment. And then this guy is acting crazily. You know? So then that is why. So I was thinking, like, why do gang violence exist? Why are people being chased around? Why do things like that happen? Probably because someone is flaunting money that's not theirs. Probably as simple as that. And so this one time, I had this thing where it's like, I'm in the kitchen being held by my dad. And then he's talking to someone that brought him over from China. And he says, okay, you are simply too whitewashed. You're simply too disrespectful. You know, I brought you here to Canada to find a job, not to disrespect me like crazy. So then, we're talking, and then, you know, my dad is fire sign red. You know, he's a passionate guy, and he believes the world is his or something. So then he shuts the door, and then this guy starts firing bullets at us. But it's through the leg, around the leg area. And then he opens the door. My dad opens the door, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? But like, it hit the wooden door. So and I'm being held up as a baby. So this guy was only trying to hit my dad in the legs. And then my dad's like, what are you doing? And then my dad pulls out a weapon. He starts firing. And then, like, it misses. Like, because firing weapons is so difficult, you know? And then the guy, the uncle, he turns around and he opens his hand. He's like, dude, don't take me so serious. And he gets in a car. He gets in a black BMW, all black, tinted windows, and drives away. And then my dad closes the door and he's like, isn't that like so disrespectful? Like, what is he doing? We're saying bye to him, and then he's firing bullets at our legs. But he's not trying to get you. He's not trying to get you, he's only coming to get me. But he's not trying to shoot me in the chest. He's trying to fire at me in the legs through a wooden door. He could know the bullets wouldn't hit through the door. He could probably hope that it would hit me through the door of a wooden door. And he opens the door, and when he let off some fires back at him as he's walking, the uncle was just like, dude, don't take me so serious. So then it's like, what are my interactions with this uncle? Obviously, as well, this uncle has no problem with me. You know, he has this thing where he's like, he once told me, don't go to New York. That's all he said to me. He's like, don't go to New York. That is all. And he told me he runs New York. He's like, I run New York, don't go to New York. I'm like, okay. So then that is also why I didn't go to New York. And then, like, as the story unfolds, I'm being chased in Los Angeles. And then he once told me, he's like, I run San Diego Zoo. You can go anywhere, but then there's going to be lions somewhere, and then that is for my son. My son is going to inherit the kingdom because I helped the community. I built a lot of things around here. Then my son is gonna thingamajiggy, and then just don't do anything like crazy offensive. So when I went to San Diego Zoo, I'm going to see lions, and then there's a guy passed out. He's like, help, I'm getting a heat stroke, I can't move. And then the zookeepers were just like, okay, everybody move out. There is no lions to be seen here. So then I go and I take photos of a saber-toothed tiger that's not showing its teeth. I take a photo of polar bears that are showing its sharp teeth. I take photos of flamingos. And then somewhere I run into this uncle. later, and this uncle starts visiting me, and I was a little bit scared. There's a point where I was so scared, and he's like, I really like these photos. San Diego's flamingos, polar bear showing his teeth, and then saber-toothed tigers not showing his teeth. And then he just like sat there in my living room like so happy. Like my uncle was just so content with the way I was raised. He was like, wow. And then when I got, someone broke into that Airbnb. I told that story where I went back to the Airbnb. A guy, my roommate, was like, I'm now leaving. And I'm like, where are you headed? He's like, oh, Boston. He's like, you shouldn't stay in Los Angeles too long. It's too dangerous. I'm like, isn't Boston dangerous because you have to go through Chicago? He's like, oh, I don't know. I'm going to live in my van or something. And I was like, man, Los Angeles is such a dangerous place. And then I go into my room, and my room was broken into. Like, the door was kicked open. My journal was out. And then I brushed my teeth later that night, and I was going to leave. So I booked like 3-4 nights, only to planning to stay for 1-2. I'm trying to lose like the lowest rung of people. You know, people chasing. I'm like, I'm gonna lose the lowest rung of people who think I'll actually stay for 5 nights. So I'm gonna leave on the second night. So I take my toothbrush. I just brush my teeth. I make sure my hygiene is good. Like shampoo is so important. I wrapped my head around it so many times. You have to have shampoo. It's like, why is NBA wives so important? Are NBA wives hotter than the average person? I don't know. But NBA players sign $500 million deal contracts. So then this woman, this person is spending time with, has access to some nice money. So what does that mean? If this person has access to $500 million, that means this lady can find herself at a nice hair salon, that this person can do their hair really nicely to the highest level. So then if this person is not an NBA wife, this person spends $25 and the hair doesn't look good. Gabrielle Union hangs out with Dwayne Wade, gets her hair done the best. So then are NBA wives hotter than the average woman? Yeah, because they have access to large sums of money. They have access to the best hair salons. That is all. That is all. So then I'm about to go homeless. I buy shampoo. If you don't have shampoo, then the grease is running down your forehead and you just smell so terrible. The first thing you gotta do before you buy electronics, buy toiletries. I recently bought a towel at IKEA. I want to buy speakers, like $200 speakers. Are you sure you don't want to buy a toothbrush? Are you sure you can't use more toothpaste? Are you sure you can't buy more soap? I ran through it so many times and I'm like, okay, I need a towel, a brand new towel. Instead of throwing my towels in the wash all the time. It's just not the same all the time. So when I go to IKEA, I buy a $14 towel. Just like normal thinking. Like common sense is not so common. You gotta get toiletries. Like, you gotta save up for dental work. Look at this $300 speaker. I'm going through life. I hold off on it. You know, 6 months later, my teeth hurts from tooth decay. I then, for $900, get a new tooth. Isn't that just like so much smarter? Why would I buy speakers? So then toiletries. It's to say like NBA wives are hotter than the average woman because they have access to $500 million so they can go to a $1,000 hair salon.
Oh, I'm a later tater. Ready, Spot? A little slow this morning, Spot. What,
It's actually so crazy because I'm really thinking about the amount of times what I've been through, and then the amount of times my family, my uncles, they visited me for dinner. Like it was so crazy. Like I grew up, thankfully I grew up and I was like well respected and mannered like the entire time. It's like that LA story where it's like I go to this Greyhound bus, like all this stuff, and then I say, oh, I'm trapped at the airport, and I throw away my AirPods and stuff, and then I call my mom, and then she's like, because all my cards started declining. I'm like, okay, I've been trapped. You win. I can't run away. So they're like, okay, here is $3,000, the exact amount you spent on that Airbnb for 5 nights, and you only stayed for 1 night. Like you're not tricking anyone. So they send me the exact same amount. Say like they have access to my email, like everything. So it's like when I was being chased, can you journal? You can journal. The average person, everybody needs to journal, or else you go crazy. In this game I was playing with these people, you can journal. In all fairness, if you fall asleep, they're gonna look at your journal. It's gonna say you're gonna try to run off here. You opened up a new email. Your password is this and all this stuff. You take it and then you put it in your shoe. They can't read things in your shoe. It's like the family tradition I had. So then I fall asleep. I'm trying to escape as best as I can, and I just want to give up. Then it's like I fall asleep. I wake up. My journal was open. Then I said, "There's no point. They have my email. This guy looking at me is from them. A person across from you reading a newspaper is definitely suspect." I was sitting. A guy walks up to me, starts reading a newspaper in front of me. That is like, that's when I gave up. I'm like, okay, like there's nowhere I can go. If I hide in the bathroom to freshen up, they'll know you're in the bathroom. And all I knew is like the things I want to keep to myself, I put it in my shoe. So then I just said, okay, like one last attempt, run away. After talking to an Uber driver. So all this stuff happened. I get in this Uber, and then this person's like, he's just driving in circles. And he's like, where do you want to go? And I'm like, how much? I have my cash. I'm like, how much does $500 get me? It gets you to 2 cities, and he just keeps driving in circles, and he keeps like refreshing the thing because I can't decide if he's suspect or not. It's like, okay, we drove around 3 times. It's now 60. And I'm like. And then everything was way too sus. I started wondering if Uber drivers were in on it. So I eventually gave up at this airport in Arizona after taking the Greyhound bus. So they said the only flight is at 11:59 p.m. Why? Because that's my punishment. That's my consequence. So it says, your flight is 11:59 p.m. And I was stuck there at the airport. And obviously it was like, I was disrespecting the wrong people. People that helped build the city. So like, all right, you actually can't get on this flight from Arizona to Toronto. It's actually, your flight is 11:59 Arizona to New York to Toronto at 11:59 p.m. So I have to wait like 10 hours at the airport because that's what I get for trying to run away. I had every right to run away because someone hacked my laptop. So then like, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know why someone hacked my laptop at all. So then because I didn't know, I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm just a respectful, mannerful guy, like, at the end of the day, So I get on this plane. It flies me to New York. And what else happened? I was at this restaurant, so I had to eat. So then there's this restaurant, and every water bottle had red on it at the Arizona airport. what else happened at this airport? It was the exact same people from 25 years ago. Like once upon a time, my dad carried me. Like, we are at Arizona airport where the Phoenix rises again. Arizona, I believe, is so close to Miami that you could just walk to Miami. And then if they say, hey, is your name Henry? That goes by the name of Tony, who wants to be called Terry? No, that's not me. Get out of here. So, you could know a guy that goes by the name of Henry who wants to be called Tony, whose name is Terry. So I'm being walked around by my dad at a young age. He's like, this is the Arizona airport. We can't go to Miami because there's the 14K. And then they know if your name is Henry, who wants to go by the name of Tony, whose name is Terry. So there's no point. So my dad is walking me around, and like I had some crazy deja vu when I went to Arizona airport. I was like, it is the exact same person. It is the exact same person from 20 years ago. And then when I went to get water, you open the water cap, there's red circles around the thing. And then what do you do at that point? You eventually just have to give up. So I just gave up. I just bought a water. I drank it. I fell asleep. I woke up. I looked at my phone. A pop-up came up. Your phone is now in danger. I was like, okay. Because I have nothing to hide. So I'm like, okay. And then I'm waiting 10 hours to board a flight. I go to this restaurant that looks so familiar. Everything is so weird. The music and the timing of when people talk is weird. And I remember here before where it's like, they're like, my mom was saying, she's like, do you want to eat these nachos with this weird dip? And then the answer is no. But I'm a grown person now. I'm a grown man now. 25, I'm no longer a baby. So then I'm like, okay, like this flight will probably be delayed unless I start eating food because I did somebody wrong, I guess. Then I start eating these nachos, and I know the dip will do me like weird. Then I start eating the dip, and I start feeling drowsy. And I'm eating these tacos, I start feeling drowsy. And then the person comes up to me, and they're surprised I haven't fainted. And they're like, "Can I help you with something else?" And I'm like, "No, it's okay." And I take there's like, the thing where you put your beer on, your draft beer on. Whenever you put your beer on that thing, I take it and I just flip it, and then I push it to communicate some sort of, I'm signaling some sort of communication. Look, I need to get on this flight. I know my flight will be delayed if I don't eat these weird tacos. And then for whatever reason, I'm a bigger person than I was 20 years ago, so I didn't faint from these tacos. But I'm so drowsy and I'm angry. And I walk out and I'm looking at these other people that just are not eating anything. They're like talking when the song isn't playing, and then when they're talking at different times, and everything was just so suspect. I thought a smoke grenade was going to go off. I thought when I ate these, I would get drowsy, and then a smoke grenade would happen, and then that the whole airport was in on it. I then get on the flight, and then I'm seated by this guy who shows me photos of his black African brother. And he's like, oh, what's bothering you? And I'm sitting on this flight, and I said, okay, like, this is really weird, but I've seen too much. I've seen too much violence growing up. And he shows me these black guys in red shirts. He's like, this guy, he lost his life because he recently got stabbed. This guy lost his life, he recently got shot, and he got shot in the neck. This guy, he got shot, but thankfully he survived. So he's saying, like, it's really normal for people to go through gang violence. And I said, yeah, like, I guess, like, we've all seen things. And he's just like, he's an older black person. But then at the same time, I'm like, why is this person talking to me on this, like, 11:59 airplane? And I was, like, getting so suspect about the whole thing of why this person is telling me that violence is normal. And then he said, okay, like, you need to trauma dump. You can't hold everything in all the time. So he's like, there, that is my story. So he's like, what is your story? What are you so afraid of that you ran away from home? And I said, the last thing I want is someone breaking into my house and getting me to eat gold swords. He's like, why would someone get you to eat gold swords? And I was like, once upon a time, I ate gold swords. He's like, oh, that's really interesting. And then I get off the plane and this person goes somewhere. And then I'm in New York. And I just remember this person once said, I run New York. Don't go to New York. But I need to use the bathroom. So what do? Do I walk outside and then look at the Empire State Building and then like be a tourist for 6 hours? I just went to the bathroom. I put the toilet seat down to say that I'm a woman. Like, I don't want to pee standing up to offend this person. So I put it down and I took my toilet paper and I just cleaned it. And then I sat there. So I landed in New York, stayed in the New York airport because this person once said, don't go to New York. I then flew back to Toronto. And then I'm in my, I recently moved into this condo. So I'm in this condo, and all of a sudden, as time goes by, you know, I don't even know why I ran off. Oh, someone hacked my laptop, changed my desktop to a passport. So that's why I ran off. But I don't think I like offended anyone crazily. So then, as I'm going through life, I start running into my uncles again. And then I'm surprised they start staying for dinner. I'm surprised they start visiting and sitting me down for coffee. And they're like, and then all of a sudden they start bringing up these like my Instagram posts. There's one time the highest elder, his son got married. So then his son gets married at his wedding. I don't post much on Instagram. I post this wedding photo of a chandelier that was taken at the wedding. Did that mean a lot to this person? It probably did, because this person says, look, you're quite a popular figure. You don't post that often, but hey, this was taken on Steven's wedding. And then here's San Diego Zoo. Flamingos, a polar bear showing his teeth, saber-toothed tigers not showing his teeth. And these people start showing up for dinner and lunch, and then I was just so confused.